Okay, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to make a boat. As you can see over here, it's a rowboat. It's going to have a small seat and it's going to have the holes for the oars to go through. And as you can see, it has chamfering, it has filleting, it has something called as tweaking that we're going to learn, and some shortcut techniques that we are going to learn today, which will help your designs and help you to design more accurately and more faster, and will make your life easier. And we will also see some new tools today, apart from the ones which you already know. So we're going to keep a small note about that as well. So how we're going to do is I'm going to go through step by step, and I will give you time to do it as well. If you're falling behind, we can just pause this video and make sure all of us are at the same step, and then we can resume this video again. All right, so what I am going to do now is I will take my boat and keep it aside over here, or else we can just create a new one just to be. All right, here we have. I hope all of you have opened your Autodesk 123D design, and if not, this is a good time to open it up so you can just follow along. Right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to make the base of the boat. For that, I'm going to use in the sketch tab on the top, if you can see my mouse, I will select the polyline tool. Now it's asking me to click on a grid, sketch, or solid face to start sketching. So I'll just click anywhere on the grid, and then it is asking me to click to specify the first point. Now the first point will be this intersection of the big squares here, right? And it can be anywhere. It can be here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be anywhere around this region. So just click anywhere which is an intersection. That's my first point, which I click on it, and then I move my mouse and I can see the line appearing. So I'll just make the line long enough for 2 squares, that is 50 millimeters. All right, so I'll show you once again from the top view, which will be easier. I click here once and then I go here to 50 millimeters and I click here again, and if I keep on going, you will see the line keeps on continuing, but I don't want it. So after making my first line, I click the escape button on my keyboard and I get my line. Okay, let's all reach here, and you can pause this video, and once you're done this, we can continue. All right, so let's make a note of the tool that we used. It's called polyline. All right, now the next thing is to construct the base from this line. Okay, now we need to make the base of the boat. For that, make sure you have the whole grid on the screen like this. All right, and click on the line that you have made. Okay, it should show you the dimension of 50. Now once you click it, go on the top on the sketch tab, and right next to the polyline there is a tool called as spline. So click on the spline tool once, and then it will ask click to specify the first point. Now come back to your line on the extreme right, make that as the first point, and then if you just drag your mouse, just click there once, don't keep on pressing the mouse, then just you drag your mouse, you can see a line follows, right? So the next point you're going to make is one square, two square, two square up, and two small square to the right. Okay, so two square up, two small square to the right. Reach over there and click the mouse button again once. Okay, that becomes your first point. Then again you have your mouse free. Now from your first point, you go again on the top. Go one box, two box, right? When you go second box, click there once again. Now again take your mouse up to the third box, but now on the third box, click one box, small box to the left. Come one small box to the left and click again. And then for the last point, you will go right till the edge here until you get this dotted line. Can you see the dotted line? You come over here and you can see the dotted line, and you click there once, and then you do not click anywhere else, just click enter on your keyboard, and you should get a figure something like this. Even if it's not exactly accurate, it's fine. Alright, as long as this point is right in the midpoint of this. Can you see this line over here? This point should be right at the center. Now once you have done that, we'll repeat the process for the other side. So again, I first click my object and then go on sketch, create a spline, click to specify first point. So I click my first point here. Again, then I go up one square, go up second square, go to the left two small squares and click there once. Then again go up one square, go up second square, follow that same line, click there once. Then go up one square and now come inside by one small square and click there once. And then I just join it with this point over here. And once you go over there, just click the enter. And you should have your base for the boat. Right? Now after this, the next step is to extrude this. So I will want every one of you to reach till here. Make sure everyone has got into this position. Even if your shape doesn't look exactly the same, it's fine as long as it looks similar to this. And it's a good time to pause this video and make sure all of you are here. And once you're all ready, we'll go ahead. Okay, so the next step is to extrude this boat. So for that, I will click the extrude button in the construct. We already know this. Click on the face of the solid and extrude it by 25 mm. Extrude it by 25 mm. Click enter, and you can move your boat and delete the base. Okay, now your boat should be looking something like this. The next thing that we are going to do is we're going to make sure that the back of the boat is at an angle. It's not flat, straight like this. So for doing this, we will use a new tool which is called as the tweak. So this is a new tweak tool that you're going to learn. So for that, we will go to the modify option on the top. First we have the press pull, and next we have the tweak. So click on the tweak once, and then it will ask you select the face or edge of a solid to tweak. So I want to tweak this edge, this back face, not the edge, the face. So make sure you do not click on the edge over here or on the edge over here. Make sure your mouse is selecting this entire flat face. Click on the face once, and then you can see here 3 arrows. Turn your boat like this, and then click on this yellow circle and tweak your boat. Bring it down by 25 or 20 degrees. Bring it down by 20 degrees and press enter. And your boat should look like this. Okay? I hope everyone has done this so far. If not, pause the video and please get till this step. Okay, so the next step is I want to make the boat hollow. Alright, so for doing that, there are two ways to do it. One is you make a similar boat like this but smaller, and then you subtract it from it. But that's going to take a lot of time. We are not going to do that. So I will teach you a shortcut method. Now, to make this hollow, we're going to use the shell tool. Now, to do that, we will go on the modify tab on the top, and we just go all the way to the right, the last option here, which is called as the shell. Click on the shell once, and it will ask you the thickness over here. So all of you make the thickness as 10, and then take your mouse and make sure your mouse is selecting the top face. It's not selecting the side, it's not selecting this side, it's not selecting anything else, it's not selecting the entire boat as well. Do not select like this, just select the top face. The best way to do this is just take the mouse to the center of your object at the top, and you will see the green line which is just covering the entire top face. Once you have that, just click there once and you will see that a shell is formed. Now if you feel that this thickness is a bit too much, you can hollow it, make the thickness as 7, or even make it as 5. That looks a bit better, but you can put any number here as per your choice, whatever you feel works best, and click enter. So we have the boat here. So we have almost finished with the body of the boat. Now we just have to add few details. Now the next step that we are going to do is, from the bottom of my boat, you can see that it is flat, but a boat is usually not flat. So the next thing I have to do is I have to fillet. So I go on the top, modify, and click on fillet. Now the next thing is I will click on this edge over here of my boat, this edge, and I will also click this edge. Make sure both these edges are selected. Don't do it one by one, you won't be able to do it. You have to select both the edges together, and then you start pulling the arrow upwards until, wait, that's too much. So little bit. Yeah, that's it. So make sure there is no hollow parts. So for me the fillet radius is 12.5. For you it can be less or more, doesn't matter, but fillet it so that there is a small rounded edge at the bottom, and then you press enter, and that's it. This should be a nice looking shape for your boat. Now the next thing we have to do is add the holes for the roar. Now to do that, what we are going to do is create a rectangle. So what I do is I go on primitives and click on sketch a rectangle, Now it will ask me to where to place the rectangle. Do not place it here at the bottom. Zoom into your boat and place it inside the rim, the side rim. Not on the left side, not inside the boat, just on the top of the rim. Just place it anywhere over here, right? And then you can elongate it like this. Elongate it so that it covers the entire two sides of the boat. So this is how it should look like. It's just sitting on the top of the boat, as if it's a wooden plank sitting on the top of the boat. Now once you have it here, okay, now that we have placed this rectangle on top of the boat, we are going to split this top face over here by using a special tool called split face. So we go again on the top, modify, and the third tool over here is called split face. Click on that once. You'll get an option called faces to split. So first you need to click on this top face over here, this face, this particular face, not on the boat, not on the side, but this top face, and then click on the splitting entity, and your splitting entity is this rectangle that we just made. So click on the edge of the rectangle. So if you move your mouse to the edge of the rectangle, you can select the rectangle, click there once, and you will see this red line. Click enter, and your body is split. So the next step is you delete this rectangle. We don't need this rectangle. I delete it, and you can see that there are small ridges on this face. Now what we have to do is, the next step, I need to extrude these ridges. The next step is I need to extrude these small ridges that we just made a little bit up. But now we are not going to use the extrude tool. We are going to use a new tool which we will find here on the top. Modify, press pull. We are not going to use construct and extrude. We are not going to use that. We are going to go to modify and press pull. So we click on that, and then we click on this small face here, and I also click on the second small face so that we can do both of them together, and then click the arrow up to 7 millimeters and click enter. So you see how nicely I have pulled it up. Well, the difference between extrude and pulling up is, if I extrude it, that object will be a separate object which is attached to this object. But when I press pull it, the object is the same object. I don't have to group it together. It's already grouped. You can see here, there are no lines here, so it's already grouped. Right. So now the next step is I need to create the holes for the oars. Okay, now we need to make the holes of the oars over here. Now to do that, we will first make a cylinder. So go on the primitives and take a cylinder, click on it once. Now the radius of the cylinder, you can make it as 1.5 mm, and the height, make it as 200. Right, you will get a long cylinder. Click enter. You will have your cylinder over here. Right, now I want to put this cylinder on top of these two elevations over here, right? Now to do that, I can just click on it and then click on move, and then I can drag it here, I can rotate it, but I don't want to do that because it takes too much time. So click undo. So what I will do now is I will introduce a new tool which is called as the snap tool. So for doing that, I'll click on the snap tool over here, which is right over here next to the text tool, snap. Click on the snap once, and after you click snap, you come right at this right side over here, you will see something called as grouping while snapping, on or off, right? You can click on it and it becomes on and off. Make sure it is off. That means you get this off sign here. It should not be on like this, it should be off. Once you do that, you click on the cylinder and then you click on the top of the face, not on the side but on the top of the face, and then you will see that your cylinder goes and sits right at the top. Right, once you have done this, we will bring the cylinder a bit down. So click on the cylinder and then move. Click on the arrow and move it a bit down. You can always zoom in and zoom out. Alright, so it is, I'm happy with where it is, and this is how it's going to look like. Now to make the holes, we are going to introduce another new tool which is called as the subtract tool. So before we do that, let's again make a note of all the tools that we have learned. We have learned the polyline, we have learned spline, we have learned the tweak, then we already know what is filleting and chamfering, so I'm not going to write it here. The next thing we learned was shell, and then we learned about split face, and then we learned about press pull, and then we learned about snap. So these are the tools we have learned today, new tools that we have learned today. So now I need to subtract the cylinder from this boat. So I will use a subtract tool. So where do I find the subtract tool? I go on the top here, combine. There's a tool called as combine. Inside that I have merge, I have subtract. So I will click on the subtract tool. Then it will ask me target solid mesh. So the target is my boat and the source solid mesh, that is my cylinder. And when I click that, I click enter, the cylinder vanishes and I'm left with the holes, and that is exactly what I needed. So all of you make sure you're done till here, and once you have done that, the next step is simply to make a small seat. Now again, to make the small seat, we will do the same thing that we did earlier. We will take a rectangle and sketch the rectangle again on the top face here, inside like this. Now if you don't get this, if you can just select this or this, you cannot select this, so zoom in. If you zoom in, you will be able to select this. So select this over here and then zoom out, and then you can take it till here. Now you have to make sure, go on the top view and make sure that this edge is not coming out of the boat. So bring the edge closer here, closer here. Now still I see some part of the edge is coming out of here, so I will make the rectangle smaller. Make it smaller like this. Make it smaller here, a little bit smaller here, a little bit smaller here. There we go. So I have to make sure that the entire square is resting on the face. It's not going out of the face or inside the boat. Once you have done that, basically just make sure that these points are all on this top face. 1, 2, 3 and 4. All of this should lie on this top face over here. Now once you have done that, we will simply extrude it. So click on that square and extrude. Now When you extrude it down, extrude it by 4 mm, but you see that it becomes red in color, means it's subtracting. I don't want that. So the solution for this is over here next to the 4 mm, you have the subtract. So click on that, and instead of subtract, click on new solid. Once you do that, you will get the new solid, and then you can delete this rectangle. Right? You will have this rectangle. The next step is to simply put this rectangle a little bit down. I don't want it at the surface, so click on the rectangle and then move it. Move it a bit down so it goes inside my board. Make sure it doesn't come out from the other sides, and then you click enter. And this is how your boat should look like. And the last stuff you have to do is you can color your boat. So you can click on your boat and then click on material over here. You can select varnished wood, and then you can select the color of your wood. So click on the red, and then you can click here. So select a brownish color and click. That's it. Click outside, and you will see that this has not colored because you have not grouped it. So let's go back and let's group this entire thing together. Select everything and go on the top, grouping, and group. Once you've clicked that, everything is a group, so I can move it around. Everything moves together. Then I can change the color. So I click on this object, material, and select varnished wood. That's it. So this is how we create a simple boat in 123D. That's it for today. If you are not able to finish it, it's fine. We can continue it next class. Right. Thank you.